think they can come over here.
We are back. Welcome to Cutting Stems, the after show. We are your hosts, Fran,
Rhea.
We got Trent. We have Kelly Keegs ready to talk about week 2 of The Bachelorette. We have been drinking a lovely cocktail tonight. Kelly Keegs made us the beautiful, this is the Claire, thanks to the OWEN'S mixers, mint, cucumber, and lime.
So
we made
good.
it with gin.
Delicious.
It was absolutely delicious.
Good.
A little muddled cucumber in the bottom.
We drank the whole bottle. Rhea actually needs like a little. Feel like you gotta.
Trent, would you like another sip?
Yeah.
It up
A muddled cucumber?
Sure. Yeah,
And
muddled with lime as well.
I'm gonna wait to cheers with you guys. I'm gonna wait.
Thank you so much.
You know what?
Oh, that's
guys,
refreshing.
This is another great
Cheers.
week.
Cheers.
On behalf of
You guys
Trent.
are a little
Cheers.
far. I
Cheers.
cannot reach you, Kelly. But
Cheers.
No bad luck for you, Trent.
Yeah, that's good.
And guys, always remember to go to owensmixers.com. Use code BARSTOOL15 to get 15% off at checkout. Week 2 started a little slow, guys. I think it picked it up towards the end.
Certainly did.
We got some really intense dates to start it off. We're going to start right from the beginning, right with Claire in this group date. Couldn't have been more of a Claire group date to have everyone go through the love languages. I feel like Claire really cares about the love languages, and she started off by basically having all the guys tell her how much they like her.
This started off the episode very uncomfortable, which then continued out the entire 2 hours. Like, there wasn't a moment in this episode that I didn't feel like I was anxious and uncomfortable. And it all started with this and making the other guys like talk in front of each other. I don't know. It was a lot of pressure.
It was also personal, I feel. Just like very, very personal. A lot of like, even the love languages thing. That was like a extremely intimate thing to be happening week 2.
Yeah, it really was.
Also, what we're learning is that it's an incredibly horny season for
Very
everyone.
horny.
Claire, all the
100%
contestants,
horniness.
everybody's been in quarantine. So
For Claire
I mean,
the most.
Claire the most, but everybody, when they were doing the love language, when they were making out in front of each other, like, it's just going to be a horny season, and we're going to get to it later where it gets even crazier.
Yes.
Isn't it funny that we say, like, oh, the physical touch, they were making out? They were not making out at all. But they were just touching so much, and it felt like they were making out. They were blindfolded. They were just touching each other.
But she did do that thing with Dale, where she
She
could
might
tell
as
it
well
was
have been
him,
naked
and then
with
she
Dale
like
at that
jumped
point.
over his arms and like nuzzled her neck into him and was like, "Oh, your smell!" Like obviously knowing it was him, but that was weird.
And she was also moaning. Like, there was a heavy breathing coming from Claire as if they were having sexual intercourse, but that was not happening. They weren't even kissing.
I think they really turned those mics up when they started nuzzling into each other's neck.
Certainly.
Claire
Laurie, what's his face, knows that
horny
best.
for
Big
Dale.
time.
Make out king.
America might be a little horny
I like
for Dale.
hashtag horny for Dale is
I think
very
horny
funny.
for Dale is.
I think Fran might also be a little horny for Dale over there.
I was saying the same thing. She said it multiple times.
A lot of times she's been talking
Dale
about
is by far the best one.
He honestly is. You're right. You're
If
right.
I was in Claire's position, I wouldn't be paying attention to
No,
any
you're
of the
right.
other guys also.
She really did a couple times we were watching, we were sitting behind you, like,
100%.
horny for Dale, huh?
We got
like,
it.
I
Dale
guess.
is actually kind of cute, you guys. And we're like, we were with you, Fran.
All right,
we
what do
know.
you guys think of, you know, after they go through all the love languages, they're setting up quality time is obviously part of the love languages. So they get to talk to Claire, and she comes out and sits down, and none of the guys asked to talk to her. And
That
she was
was-
very upset.
That was
Very upset.
painful. Painful.
So this is a decision I'm going to have to make with myself because I was thinking about it all episode. Is she making things into a bigger deal than they need to be? Or is she'll say it, she's 39, she knows what she wants, she is going to go get it, and any sort of hesitation from any of the guys, she's not going to put up with. And I think that's more what it is. But, I mean, if you're one of those guys, you have to step up and be like, I will take you right now and we'll talk.
Yeah, I'm feeling a little annoyed by Claire. I have to be completely honest. I want to root for Claire. I am rooting for her. I'm rooting for her love. I know she's a strong, successful 39-year-old woman, and we get that. But things are becoming quite dramatic very quickly. Like, I don't know why that was so awkward and why we've never seen that happen before. Like, we've never seen nobody talk to her, and it just seemed like she snapped so quickly.
Do you think that that is because just of the group of guys? We've been saying this whole time that the group of guys is great, but to be honest, if any of them have seen an episode of The Bachelor before in any of their lives, they know that that was weird. So I feel like Claire overreacting like that, I personally don't think it was that much of an overreaction, but I know everybody disagrees. However, I think that she overreacted in that way because imagine being 39. This is like your third or fourth time on this franchise and no one wants to talk to you immediately. I'd lose my shit.
I get
have
that.
none of you seen the show before?
I think you are in such a different mindset as The Bachelor or The Bachelorette too, because the show is literally about you, and if these guys are not paying attention to her. I get it. I also think that, you know, Kelly, we've watched Claire on every show she's been on. I think if you've watched Claire many times before, you're very used to how she is.
Yes.
And if not, she's
comes
sensitive.
off
She's
very
a sensitive
dramatic. Person. She's a very, very sensitive person.
And so
the smallest thing will set her off.
it's very easy to see how she's like kind of quick and snappy and like does not really care if these guys like, not that she needs them to give her everything they have.
Yeah.
Right, for sure.
Which we saw very, very clearly on this Jason date as well. Jason got the first one-on-one. Rhea, what did you think about this straight on 1v1 therapy session that we had on this date?
I feel like Claire is babysitting these guys and also putting them through therapy.
Yeah.
And it almost felt like they were just stabbing each other in the chest back and forth, and it was gonna be like, who's gonna bleed out more? We're just physically beating each other up. Like, they might as well have been throwing punches. I understand the point of it, getting to know somebody and getting to know what people, you know, say about them, because that's how you really get to know somebody. But it's also the first date. Like, let's chill. When you go out on a first date in real life, and I get this isn't real life, are you talking about your parents not getting along when you're growing up, or something to that extent?
And implying something even worse.
Jason had me, he had me on the edge of my seat.
Me too, me too.
I had to a point where I thought he killed a guy.
Yeah, very much so.
Like, is it gonna be like come out that he killed the guy? Like, that's how intense it was. He sort of danced around and maybe didn't want to get into it entirely on the first date. But for like, they went to commercial break. It could have been anything.
I felt bad for him because you could tell he was open about the situation. He was saying, you know, my parents' relationship, they were married for 35 years, but Claire just kept asking and asking.
She was really clicking at him.
Like, oh, tell me more about your parents' relationship. Like, what exactly happened?
Like, let the demons out.
Right, which is
okay, Claire.
Which I understand, Claire. But yeah, you have to remember that these guys are on television, and maybe this is not something they want to be saying right off the bat. Besides that, I like Jason. I love the offensive lineman glow up. You know, when he's like, hey, I used to be a big guy, and now he's like tall, skinny, and handsome. It's always a good look for those offensive linemen. It's shocking. If somebody can find a picture of Jason when he played football, I would love to see it.
Absolutely.
Me too, and I feel like we can get that. Also,
I'm sure we can.
Trent keeps talking about Yosef being a vampire, and I feel like Jason was giving off werewolf vibes almost. You know, like we had a vampire werewolf Twilight
situation. He seemed a little warm-blooded, and Yosef
he was
cold-blooded.
I got demons that you don't even know about.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, chill, buddy.
He's got a good werewolf jaw too. He's got a good jawline to be a werewolf.
Yes.
I could see that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're very right. And so we kind of had this situation with Riley and Yosef during the first group date where they were going at. I'm throwing names at you, and I feel like you're like, who are you
talking
talking
me a
about?
second. Riley is the one that was like,
Riley was like, me, you, you're talking about
jacked,
me.
right?
Yeah,
Riley's
He's jacked.
super jacked. Yeah.
I want to talk about Riley getting the group date rose because I really think Claire would give Dale every possible rose. She just can't. So every time someone else gets a rose, it feels like a runner-up rose.
I agree.
Completely agree.
It's a participation rose.
Yeah.
Like, you're not Dale, but thanks for coming.
Right.
She keeps doing. Sorry, try and go.
No, go ahead.
She keeps doing that to Blake, and that's what I was trying to. Or I thought about before and didn't say it. She keeps rewarding him for breaking the rules, and that goes back to her need for attention and how much she like loves it and she wants all of it. She wants somebody to like break the rules and do crazy shit and win her over like a like a knight on a horse type situation. That's what she wants.
I think every group date rose should be handed to Dale, and then Dale hands it to the guy that Claire wants. Just like Dale's just like, so you know, this is mine, but she's giving it to you because she can't give them all to me.
Yep, exactly. I want to take a moment to applaud Jason.
Oh, wow.
Because we have Jason, we're looking at Jason in his, you guys can't see it.
Can we throw it up on him?
I think we're trying to get it thrown up.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be.
This was football playing Jason.
Yeah.
And
this is
you know
bad.
what?
This is bad, guys.
It is bad. It is bad
guys can't see.
television, but
You'll see it at some
I
point.
mean, just a
Amazing.
job well
He
looks
done by
fantastic.
Jason.
He looks great.
He looks amazing. Good for him. That's fantastic. And we also saw Claire burn the dress that she wore. I guess it was
is the finale.
The
for Juan
finale
Pablo's
dress.
Season. Yeah. The green for those, you know.
All right, Trent, what do you think about them just completely ignoring the fact that Claire was engaged? Like, we're just talking about Juan Pablo. We're talking about the dress. Like, that was the dress that she wore when she almost got engaged? What about the dress she wore when she did get engaged?
Or the engagement ring itself.
Yeah, I think they might have looked at it from like a rating standpoint where I don't think Winter Games obviously didn't do as well. So I think there would have been a large group of people. If they were talking about Benoit nonstop, they would be like, I don't know what this is. Like, they'd be freaking out like we are that they're ignoring it. You know, they'd be like, I don't know who this person is. So they just decided to ignore it so they didn't have to explain it to people.
Right.
Did we talk about, I think we found this out after the fact, that they did film a little bit of content with Benoit with the intention of maybe airing it, and they ended up not. So he posted it on his Instagram and was like, sad to be left out of tonight's premiere with Claire, but she's radiant as always, like just forever simp with Benoit.
Like, that's how much they don't care about putting Benoit in it at all, is that they actually did include him and then decided to cut it, not even include it.
That's so much worse.
Maybe they just want us also to not remember that this engagement happened. It's just like not part of Claire's storyline here. I don't know, or they thought, but I don't know. They filmed it so clearly they thought it was somewhat important.
And then decided it wasn't because they cut it out.
Right, exactly. And then decided it really was not important at all, and let's just focus on Juan Pablo. The second group date was dodgeball. Ooh. And not just any dodgeball, strip dodgeball. I don't know, Rhea, Rhea, you tweeted maybe this was payback for last season's lingerie pillow fight. Not quite sure.
That's a good point.
I mean, I feel like they almost had to be fair because last year when this happened, everyone was like, why are they making the girls dress up in lingerie?
You're right, actually.
Yeah.
But this time,
I mean, these guys, they were naked.
Fucking naked. Dicks out in front of Chris Harrison. Chris Harrison's like covering his eyes. They're just swinging around. Honestly, it was weird. Like, I think it's funny to joke about, obviously, the amount of dicks were shown to Claire and Chris Harrison just like fully out there. But also, what are we doing? What happened? When we said there are no rules, this was 100% proof there are no rules because they're just literally helicopter dicking all over the place on this show.
Literally, what is it? That's the dick in a box.
Yeah.
Or no, to impress a chick, helicopter dick.
Yeah.
That's literally
Lady Gaga's like going crazy. That was Claire.
Yes.
She was like.
Literally, that was Claire.
And they seemed legitimately stunned that the strip dodgeball was happening. Like like sometimes you can tell that it's all work and pretend, but when she was like, excuse me, Chris Harrison, we're gonna do something different. We're gonna do strip dodgeball. They were like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then they did it, and I thought they were just gonna go down to their underwear. Sometimes they use those black boxes to trick you to seem like their dicks are out.
Which they did for some of them. Which is why this was. I mean, I can't even believe we're talking about this. Which is why it was hard to tell which ones were still in their underwear and which ones were naked because the black box was covering it. But it looked like Garen fully pulled his underwear off. It looked like some of the other guys.
Blake Moyes definitely did.
And then they walked back to the house naked. It's like they almost
naked.
It's like they sat down on the couches with everyone else naked, and needed a moment to realize like, what did we all just do?
I guess.
Right, like at what point, also too, when they walked back in the house, they all sat on the couch to like debrief the rest of the guys, but maybe hey guys, let me go get dressed first and then I'll explain the situation.
Nobody put clothes
back on. Like, why
they
gotta sit there on the couch?
They made Blake Moynes do his interview outside, still naked.
Holding his balls.
Like he was like, I hope he had pants on and they were like maybe just, just put your hand down there so it looks like you're still naked.
No.
But
what I love the most is that we can say dick so many times on this after show. And I say the Bachelorette was talking about this on an after show. They would be like, you guys showed your packages. Meanwhile, they're fucking naked.
Like, no, it was weird. It was weird. It was like, I want to say uncomfortable, but not in the way that I would normally say uncomfortable. Like, I just felt like awkward as fuck watching it.
It was uncomfortable.
Because nobody was even, there wasn't even one guy, you know how there's always like a guy in the group who loves to get naked. He gets naked and gets in the, gets in the pool or something stupid.
Yep.
None of these guys strike me as that kind of guy. So for them to be like, okay, like, oh no, just not liking it at all.
Trent,
I don't really know what to say.
Just guys being dudes jumping around with their dicks and balls.
It's just
champagne popping.
It's just guys being dudes. I think like they've all like as quarantine horny as these people are, they're also like looking to hang out with their bros too. So maybe they just want to let their dicks hang.
Dicks out for the boys.
And then
dicks out for the boys.
And then there was some champagne involved with the other guys. I thought I was watching a softcore porn at one point. It was really something.
I'm pretty speechless.
speechless.
I'm speechless about the whole thing.
She's disturbed.
I am.
Very disturbed.
I was really disturbed. I really can't believe that was the date. Like that was a whole level that we just didn't need to go to. And for a little bit, because we don't really see what Yosef's full argument is. We know that he's upset that
Next
these
week,
guys
apparently we'll see.
were
Yeah.
getting naked. Meanwhile, he was not on the date. It kind of looks like he's maybe looking for a reason to get the hell out of there.
Yeah.
Seems like it, yes.
And he was picking a fight. But right when he said it, I was like, I kind of agree with you. Like, these guys just, did they really have a choice? But, then Chasen was like, hey, man, like, you could have just kept your shorts on. No one made you get naked.
Yeah,
but
exactly. I don't know what.
Claire
I didn't
definitely
realize
didn't
he
say,
wasn't on it.
like, you can keep your clothes on.
She might have, though, and they might have cut it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, she could have said that. But I also
I hope
too
someone
think
gave them an
maybe
option.
Maybe they didn't say that. Maybe they just were like, oh, if you want, you can. And then
Yeah.
like the big stage bright lights come on, and they're like, well, I better do
Yeah.
this. Like,
Yeah.
Claire's gonna pick me if I
Right.
do, so
Big
I might
stage
as
bright
well.
lights immediately wants to take all your clothes
Yeah,
off.
yeah.
I
You
don't
never
know.
know.
If you're feeling excited and you're like, let's just get naked.
Yeah,
I don't know. It definitely was a little
Dodgeball
weird.
You could get a
adrenaline.
little hype.
I don't know. I'm thinking about being at the ASAP Rocky concert and he's telling everyone throw your bras and you're sitting there and you're like, do I throw my bra right
Yeah.
now? The lights, the bright stage.
I probably would, to
You
be
know,
honest.
it's
Yeah, I
like
would
the
throw it.
pressure. But anyways, I do understand what you're saying.
I think pressure's the problem. Pressure's the problem, I
Yeah.
think.
Pressure's probably
Absolutely.
bad about
You see
it.
the guy next to you,
Yeah.
pull him down.
Oh,
you're
that
like,
guy's
I
dick
guess
is
I
out.
gotta pull him
You
down.
look left, you look right, there's sticks everywhere. It's
Yeah.
like, all right.
The
wanna be
thing is,
left
I
out.
do kind of understand it. I tweeted Yosef is insecure about his dick. I was obviously joking.
Yeah.
I understand not wanting to get naked in
Yes.
front of everybody.
Yes.
And Claire. Like,
On
that's totally
television.
respectable.
Yes.
But also maybe he's insecure about his dick.
Yeah,
At the same
maybe.
Both things can be true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
both things can be true.
Did not expect that to really be the full date. Didn't really know. When they showed the preview for it last week, I was like, they're joking around, but that's really what happened.
Robert Mills tweeted, naked as the day they were born. So,
Wow.
Robert
there you go.
Mills
How do you
is
think
the producer on the show.
how do you think
for
like the
everybody.
crew feels about how that all went down? Like imagine being on set that day, because it's like these guys are getting naked for Claire and it's whatever. But think about
Kelly, we're
however
talking
many
about The
people.
Bachelor and
I
The
know, but
Bachelorette
how
here.
many people are around all the time? Like
wanna
that's
know how Chris
it makes it
Harrison
worse.
felt.
Chris
Because
Harrison.
he was right there.
Yeah,
front
he's
row
right
seat.
there.
believe-
Front row seat, want to know his ratings.
I can't believe that he
Okay,
allowed
we're
it.
getting inappropriate. I'm sorry.
No, I
It
can't
was
believe
disgusting.
he allowed it, but I also can believe he allowed it because that was, must-see television. I was captivated for
I do think one of the
full 15
benefits
minutes.
of having a bachelor bubble where they kind of have the whole thing, you can have guys just walk home naked and nobody's going to interrupt them.
That is true.
Yeah.
Like Moines just had his hand on his dick and walked like a half mile back to the hotel.
He must have felt kind of free if we're really going to get down
Right.
to it.
Right, like
Probably.
his pants were around.
I think Rhea would have got naked at the dodgeball tournament. I think that's what we're getting at. Fran's horny for Dale. Rhea's getting naked at the dodgeball tournament. I
Listen,
think that's
like I
really what's
said,
going on here.
I understand it was weird and strange, but I'm enjoying talking about it with you guys.
Yeah.
As am
So-
I.
It's fun to
All
tweet
right,
about.
let's move on to Blake. Blake was on the losing dodgeball team. We know that. We already talked about him holding, his dick for quite
Holding
a
his
long
dick
time
and
on
balls,
the
yeah.
show. Okay.
His pee-pee.
Yes, he gets stressed. We watch him put clothes back on, and then he
Dramatically.
decides to
Yes.
go interrupt the date. He wants to show that he has balls. They said balls a billion times on this episode. Number
It was
one.
a record
It was
number
like
of
not
balls.
only were they
Record
getting
number.
naked, but it was like we want to show Claire we have balls. So he had said multiple times, "We want to show Claire that I got balls." Going to show up. He interrupts the date with Jay actually, who was talking to Claire, and he came up and Jay had a great didn't you lose?
Yeah, he walked up and
What
he
is
said,
a
didn't you guys
loser?
Trent,
lose?
you have a little. We're not talking about it, but what did you
like
think
Jay,
about
right?
Jay's move?
Well,
We're not talking about
I
it,
don't like Jay in that aspect. I was a big straight jacket guy last week. I made that pretty clear just talking about it a lot last week. That
Yeah,
I
only
was a
last
big
week.
fan
Only
of the
last
straight jacket.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I didn't like that. I don't like I'm a big there are no rules guy on The Bachelor and Bachelorette. So when Blake walks up and is like, I'm gonna now talk to Claire, and Jay is like, well, you lost in dodgeball, bro.
Yeah.
So like you're not gonna talk to Claire right now. That I don't. They took
Yeah.
it way too seriously the whole
Yeah, they
dodgeball.
did.
And I think if Blake had just pretended that he was on the winning team, I don't think Claire would have known the difference. I think if he had just walked
No.
up and like, yeah, I was on the red team, she'd be like, all right, let's talk.
It was
It's
honestly
Maybe
like
she remembered his dick though.
it was
Then what?
honestly like the dodgeball movie. Why don't you cram it into your cram hole?
Yes.
I wish that someone had thrown a line out like that because all the guys on the date tried to kind of tough guy, come up to Blake. All 5 of them came up. They lined up, and they were like, "Hey, man."
Hey, man.
Yeah.
You lost
Hey, man.
dodgeball, bro.
I don't know why
the
you're
snakes
here.
thing?
Hey, man.
Like, why didn't they be like, "What's up, bro?"
Yeah.
Like, you serious?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I think that would have been
Hey,
a
man,
little
we're
bit
Start
better
throwing
for television.
wrenches at them.
Hey man, we're gonna kick your fucking ass because you lost some dodgeball,
Yeah.
right?
You
That's
better
what
get
it
the
was
hell
like.
out of here. Yeah.
Kelly, did Claire do the right thing by telling the boys to go back and sit down, and then having a little chat with Blake, telling him to leave, and then rejecting his kiss?
I think yes to telling the boys to go, although I would love to have seen that drama. Would have absolutely loved to see that fight go down. However, I think that was right. The only thing, and rejecting his kiss I think was also fine. The only thing that made it okay was giving him the rose like as soon as she saw him the first time. She was like, here is the appropriate opportunity. And then I think she's doing a little like weird bait and switch thing on him, like some manipulation. She was like scolding him, denied his kiss, told him to get the hell out, and the next day he comes in and she's just like, you know what, that was wonderful. Like, here's a rose. She's playing a
kind
mind
of
game on
hilarious
him.
because it's a little bit of a, like, she's trying to follow the rules, but she's like, hey, I gotta send you back.
Yeah,
You know?
yes,
Yeah.
that's what I
Like,
mean. She's
I gotta send
she's
you back.
rewarding his bad
Right, it's
behavior,
like
encouraging him to do
Everything
more.
she says we are watching, she's on TV. But it's like, in her mind, when she's following the rules, that's what's on TV. And then when she sees him again, she was like, by the way, that move you pulled. Like, it's like if she was like alone with him.
Yeah.
If that happened in a group and then she was actually
You're
alone.
exactly right. You're exactly right.
Actually alone with him. That move you pulled.
Yes.
Attacks him.
Yeah,
Literally.
she's like, that was, oh my God.
It's true.
So
And
weird.
that's exactly what she did.
Mhm.
So it's, I don't know. She clearly likes seeing the rules broken, but also acknowledging that there are rules, even though there aren't
I was going to say,
rules.
Fran, why are you even saying that there are rules? We
No,
know
she likes
that
to
there
think
are
that
no
there are
rules.
but there are no rules.
She likes to pretend. Yeah, she likes to
Exactly.
pretend a lot.
She
Exactly.
likes to feel like a bad girl. Claire's like, I'm a
She
little
does.
naughty.
Breaking
I'm
the
like,
rules.
Let's make all these rules and then
Yeah, she was
maybe
like,
we'll
there's
break
no,
the
there's no
rules.
rules, but
Ooh.
Not really.
Everybody gets a rose
broke
if you
them.
break a rule. Literally,
Yeah,
Claire.
nobody break the rules,
Yeah.
please.
All right, Rhea. I tweeted and called this guy Brendan a billion times, but his name is Brandon. Brandon pulled Claire aside and had a moment there where he tried to compliment Claire, tried to say, you are so beautiful. And she was like, well, why'd you, well, first he said, I came on the show. I was super excited to meet you
Right.
and whatever. You're very beautiful. And she asked, is there anything else that you liked about me, why you wanted to meet me? He had no response. No response. Do you, should he have just made something up?
Yes. Brandon
Yes.
should have just made something up because he's very cute and I'm sad that he's gone.
Yeah,
Okay.
Same.
I was excited about Brandon. He should have just made something up. Although I think that going back to the beginning of the episode, Claire was more dramatic in this circumstance than the beginning. Because does anybody know Claire besides Dale?
Right.
No, nobody knows her. So I get it, like a very surface level comment to be like, I thought you were really beautiful, and then not say anything else. At least throw something else in there, like you seem like a strong, confident woman, and I love that about women.
He
Like,
could have
just
picked any
any
adjective.
adjective
Because the
would have been
adjectives,
fine.
the adjectives she threw out that the other guys have said, like tenacious,
Yeah.
driven, like
courageous.
just
She
pick-
made those words up.
Just
She made those
pick
up.
any adjective, and it would have, he could have been like, "You're so brave."
My
Yeah.
favorite
and
part
she would have
about
been
that.
like, "Oh my God, thank you so
I
much."
am brave.
Right. My favorite part about that was how she was like, you could have said all these things. And he was like, well, I don't know you on a personal level.
Yeah.
And she goes, well, all the other guys said those things. So it doesn't seem like you need to know me on a personal level to say those things.
Yeah.
And it's like either, okay, those guys did their
was a little
research
bit like,
or
did you
they
not
just
watch me on
lied.
TV?
Because
Yeah.
like, very much
Yeah.
so. Like, do you know who my dad is? Like, that's how that came across to me.
I think she was looking to cut somebody's head off. Like,
For sure.
send a message. Like, we're not fucking around here. If you say something to me, I'm gonna follow up on it. Because in the past, if a guy had said that to a bachelorette, like, you're the reason I came on the show, she'd be like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that's so nice. And she's like, tell me everything you know about me. And he was like, I think you're from Sacramento. And she was like, get out of here.
It was tough, really
Get
tough.
out of here.
Hard to watch.
Yeah, if you've been on the show, on one of these shows as many times as Claire, though,
Fair.
it probably gets to your head, and you gotta think these guys have to know something about me. Like,
It is kind of crazy
don't
that he
know.
doesn't though. Like he didn't even
know
like
what?
look it up on his phone like
Brandon
a couple episodes.
is
anything.
beautiful. He's a model in New York.
Yeah.
You know, his agent called him and said, "Hey, man, I think you being on The Bachelorette would be a good exposure for you. Get you on some I know he's on some Smile Direct Club billboards in Manhattan. You know, maybe he'll get a few more gigs. People will like you. And it worked because we're all talking about him right now. So he got the exposure, but probably not in the way that they had wanted, because he was on and gone very, very quickly.
Yes.
Because she sent him home.
Cut his stem, one might say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Do we like that Claire just said get the fuck out of here right now and didn't wait to send him home?
I kind of like it.
Yeah.
I think it's a little cutthroat, a little savage. Like, all right, Claire, we see you.
Yeah, like
What a move.
I have no attachment to Brandon.
Me either.
I'm not like, oh no, I wish she would have kept him. I sort of like her setting the tone of just like,
Agreed.
If you mess around, you're out of here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Agreed.
All right, Rhea, let's get into some fan questions. Bachelor Nation, let's hear from you.
Let's hear
from
everybody.
What are you reading from? Twitter?
I'm reading from Twitter, so if you're watching from Twitter right now, let's get some questions in.
Get some questions.
I've spelled questions wrong a million times in this chat.
Get some good ones. That's all right. You're typing furiously.
Once again, I'm like, hey guys, it's me.
Hey,
I'm not an intern.
I'm not an intern.
My intern didn't get paid full time.
Intern Rhea.
Once again.
People are very confused. All right. Have our thoughts changed on Bennett?
No.
Oh, no.
Have they changed? They've only increased.
Yeah.
To be honest,
Why can't I see the
I saw people were
I
tweeting at me the Chateau Bennett thing. I mean, I could have cried watching
Trent,
that.
I'm curious as to what your opinion is, because he really didn't do anything bad on this episode.
No, he
really didn't.
Up until the end with the Chateau Benoit
But
or
that
whatever.
was silly.
But he no, but he
He had a little robe on and he had a martini and he was like, "Welcome to Chateau
No,
Benoit."
he was like, "Come over to my chateau and I'm gonna show you around." And then there was one part
amazing.
at the beginning where he was running around in his loafers, which he looked ridiculous. I definitely don't like him anymore. I don't know if I like him any less. I still strongly dislike Bennett. He just hasn't. One of these episodes is going to be the breaking point where it's like, oh, maybe he's not as bad of a guy, or it's, oh, he is exactly who I thought he was. And tonight wasn't that episode.
I'm hoping he just continues to wear like linen shorts and khakis as his loungewear.
I said that
his loafers.
He reminds me of a hot version of Jonah from Veep.
Yeah. Okay. I like that comparison.
Which I still kind of like low-key think Jonah from Veep is hot. Like I don't know if that's a tall versus hot thing, but
for
yeah.
you for sure. 100%.
Yeah.
Follow-up question, Trent. Does that mean you would pull Bennett's luggage if you could choose anybody's luggage to pull?
Yeah, right now, yeah, absolutely.
Great question.
It would be Bennett because I don't have strong dislike.
You would pull Bennett's luggage before Yosef's luggage right now?
Yeah. Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Because
right.
I've made a stink about not liking Bennett, and that's true. And it would just feel so good. I know I don't know if we've seen enough of Yosef, although we kind of have. But Bennett is just an overarching evil villain that I would take great satisfaction in pulling his luggage away.
I feel like you
really
want to see
would.
what Yosef's got going on. Like I feel like you want to still see the drama from him. Like you wouldn't want to pull his luggage right now because you want to see what happens.
Yeah, Bennett isn't a guy I don't think is going to get in the mix in terms of drama.
Yeah.
Yosef is a guy who's going to provide a lot of drama, so keep him around.
Yeah. Okay.
I feel like this is a good question.
Exciting.
How do you feel about Claire having love at first sight with Dale, but then getting mad at Brandon's comments? Because she didn't really know Dale. Didn't know Dale. And
I gotta say, that's very true. Claire, as far as we know, because there was no, as she would say, there was no communication before, she was basing that solely off looks.
Agreed.
I agree.
Do you think that she should have reacted in the same way that she reacted to Blake Moynes, where he broke the rules by doing something wrong in the same way that Dale did? Claire excused that and in fact encouraged him about it, as she keeps doing, because she was also a hypocrite. Do you think maybe she doesn't feel as if this is as hypocritical, so she's not like standing up for it?
Yes, and I also think that Claire really does not want to be embarrassed on this show.
Very much so.
You know? And regardless of if Brandon gave an answer or not, he hesitated so much it was like he couldn't even think of anything, which she probably took as like, this guy can't think of one thing to say right now. And I'm sure in her head that immediately went to, this guy's making me look bad, see you later.
Didn't he mumble like, can we not talk about this right now?
Yeah.
What, dude? Like, no, we're
It's
talking.
like, can we just like turn the
This is
cameras
main-
off? Really?
Yeah.
Can we like not
We
do
on
this?
show? Oh shit! Turn those cameras off.
What was he wanting to talk about instead? You know what I mean? Like what? I guess himself or make
Yeah,
out.
he's like, can you give me like 2 minutes to Google something so I can tell you something about yourself?
Yes.
Yeah. He had to have had something too, and he definitely just panicked. You know, those guys have talked about something about Claire.
I saw
he could
that
have made
face
up
of
anything.
panic.
Yeah, he totally deer in the headlights panicked.
Big time.
All right. Anything else? Want to take a couple more?
We'll do one more. It's
One
kind
more.
of like a wrap-up question.
Okay, perfect.
How do we feel about Claire as the Bachelorette so far? Do we think that she's asking for too much, or are the guys not giving enough?
Kelly, why don't you start? We'll go down the line.
Those are thoughtful questions. I think that she is giving us enough. I think she is trying to like make a name for herself as the Bachelorette, so she's doing a lot of like knee-jerk things, which usually ends up to be pretty entertaining. So far, I'm here for Claire and all of her actions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I like it because I'm not as used to Claire as everybody else, but like in the past, Bachelorettes have been like more passive and they sort of let things slide. So to have like one that's taking control and knows what she wants, I think that's actually makes for a more interesting show.
Yeah.
Like it'll be better for the drama. It'll probably work out better for her in the end. I guess we kind of know how it works out for her in the end, but I think I like it so far.
Yeah, even though she's kind of annoying me, I like it.
Yeah.
You know, it's a good annoying.
Yes.
It's like, okay, you know, you're asking for a lot, but I really like your dominance here. If you were kind of boring and let things slide, then it'd be boring, so.
I agree with you guys. This is exactly what I expected from Claire. I like Claire, and I think that this was everything Claire was going to be on this show, and it makes sense that you say, oh, she's so much, she's so intense, it's all very dramatic. That's how she is, and I feel like that's why the season is as destructive and amazing as it's going to be, is because she does know what she wants, and it's Dale, and everybody else
exactly.
is like,
She's
that's
not
where all
subtle
the
about
drama's
it.
coming from, because everybody else can tell that she has, you know, one guy on her mind, or, you know, one guy's really at the top.
She's not a subtle person at all, I feel. Just like not even in the slightest.
No, exactly. So it definitely makes for more dramatic television, which can't complain. It's better than like you could get the sweetest, nicest girl to be the Bachelorette, and the season could just be really boring.
Right, like I bet you go through my old Bachelorette tweets, and it'd be like, I'm so bored by this. Like I want action, and now that we've got it, I feel like I can't like critique that. So I'm in on it so far.
Yeah.
I feel the same way about Claire as I did about Hannah Brown. I like Hannah Brown. She was cool. On her season, couldn't stand her.
Right.
Like, just really was like, nope. And now it's like, she's fine.
Yep.
Right.
See, I actually like Hannah Brown better as the Bachelorette.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
I did as well.
so far, I very much liked her better, I would say.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so we are coming to our last segment of the show. You know, last week we gave out roses, and, you know, fans very kindly told us that, you know, the name of your show is Cutting Stems, which is correct.
Yes.
And that we should also cut a stem as well as give a rose out. So maybe a positive, a negative. We're going to be doing both. Rhea, do you want to start?
I'll do both.
Okay.
I couldn't even think of one this time. Listen, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to cut Blake's stem because he already got the rejection. Might as well pile it on. Take it all in one night. I'm going to cut his stem, even though I kind of feel bad for him. He walked naked, even though it was kind of freeing probably. He got rejected by a kiss from Claire. You might as well just pile it all on him tonight so he gets over it.
Yep.
And I would like to give my rose to, I don't know. I didn't necessarily like this move, but I thought it was hilarious. The guy who was like, "Didn't you lose?" Like, just because it was a hilarious line, I'm gonna give my rose to him.
That's Jay.
Straight Jack and Jay.
Straight Jack and Jay. I would
Love him.
the best.
Trent?
I'm gonna cut Yosef's because I know, as much as I know he's gonna give us drama, I do not like him.
Yeah.
He's just an off-putting guy, and he's mad about the date, but he wasn't on the date. Like, just calm down, dude. Like, don't worry about it. And then I think if I'm gonna give a rose, I might give it to Chris. I'm gonna give it to Chris Harrison, being on the dodgeball date, maybe seeing a few dicks that he didn't think he was gonna see.
Yeah.
Played through it, just thought it was fine. So I'm gonna give my rose to Chris Harrison tonight.
All right.
That's
Kelly?
a good one.
I think that's an excellent rose. I
Thanks.
was also going to give my rose to Chris Harrison, but instead, I'm going to give it to the production people that I mentioned earlier who also had to watch, like Chris. Same idea. The stem I'm cutting this evening may come as a surprise based on what I just said, but I'm cutting Claire's stem.
Oh my God,
I am
Ellie.
cutting
What the?
Claire's
See you
stem because
later.
I'm sorry, she is just too horny on the show. Like, she needs to relax. She is too horny. It's week 2,
It's
Claire.
really horny.
It's week 2. You gotta rein it in. These guys, they're feeling weird. They're getting mad at you. They're breaking the rules in a bad way. It's a recipe for disaster, and she has to relax. So unfortunately, I'll be cutting her stem today.
Okay.
Wow.
That was big of you, and we're really proud.
Thank you. Thank you. I had to be honest with you guys.
I'm a little torn on mine, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna give I'm going to give my rose to, it's very similar to what you said, Kelly, but the editors who had to go back and do all the black boxes.
Yes.
They had to
Interesting.
see
That's a good one.
them.
Because
Yep.
if you notice, some guys, there was times when they had 2 black boxes, one in the front, one in the back. Like there's a lot of
2 for the balls.
Yeah.
there was a lot of black box action, so the editors
Christmas
that
tree
had to
box.
make sure that was fully censored.
Imagine they made the boxes look like a dick.
Yeah.
Like they had
Yeah.
2 and then 1 long one.
Oh, I would love
Do
it.
that next time.
Yeah, next time,
just giving a rose to you, and I'm going to cut. I'll just stay on theme. I'm going to cut the stem of the couches at La Quinta that they all had to sit on, and the pillows. Just
Yep.
cut them,
That's a good one.
throw them away,
Burn 'em.
Burn
try
'em.
again.
Right next to the dress,
Get those
burn the
guys
shit
some
out of
new
them.
couches.
Yeah.
It would really only be fair. It would really only be fair. All right, that wraps up week 2 of Cutting Stems, the after show. Thank you guys all so much for tuning in.
Woo!
Go to owensmixers.com, use Barstool15, the code, you get 50% off, and we will see you all next week. And just a reminder, make sure you listen to our Chicks in the Office full recap. Will be out tomorrow, and we'll see you all next week.